Hey everyone, I know that there are some of you that have been waiting for the next vlog on the channel, and we've been in the process of moving. We have relocated from Florida to New Jersey, and while that move has happened, much to my wife's chagrin, I'm sure that the theme parks will continue, as that's something that I'm very passionate about. And so I want to take a few minutes today and recap an after-hours event that I did earlier this month at Hollywood Studios. I've had the privilege to go to after-hours events for holidays, Jollywood and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, but I've also been able to go to after hours at Hollywood Studios. And so I had the opportunity to head over to Hollywood Studios for this. And one of the things that I was excited about going into this is obviously there are new events happening at Hollywood Studios. There's a new villain show and a new Little Mermaid show. And so I was excited about the premise of not only doing all of the things that I love to do at Hollywood Studios, but also the opportunity of getting to see one of them. And so if you haven't gone to an after-hours event, they open it up before the park closes to the regular guests. So the hours for the event are from 9:30 to 12:30. And if you are going to check one of these out, make sure you check your event, because there are some dates on the calendar that are a little bit later. They open up at officially at 10 o'clock. But with that said, you are able to go into the park earlier. So our entrance time was at 7 p.m. And so getting over there, I was a little bit early, so I got to do a Skyliner trip. I love the Skyliner there at Hollywood Studios and Epcot and a number of the resorts. And then I was able to get in line and wait for the park to officially open at 7. Sadly, I was not able to do both Villains and the Little Mermaid show, because they were both right there when we entered the park. And so because of that, the villain showtime was directly at 7. I was not able to make it there in time. But the Little Mermaid show was at 7:20, and so I was able to get over there and see the new Little Mermaid show. It wasn't my favorite. I actually preferred the original one, but it was cool to see, and I know the little ones would love, if you have little ones, kids in your family, they'd love to see that show. So the first thing I did was get over there and see the Little Mermaid show. Afterwards, I did a walk-up, went over to the Sci-Fi Drive-In, and I asked, hey, do you have any open spots? And sure enough, they did. I got to sit at one of the tables in the back of the restaurant, but I got to have dinner, and one of the things that I love to do on these after-hours events is go see Fantasmic. And so got to have dinner. There was a little bit of time before getting over there to see Fantasmic, and so I did a quick Star Tours, which is not my wife's favorite ride by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely one of mine. And so we got to do Star Tours, and then I went over and did Fantasmic. Now, there were some challenges throughout the night, and one of which was Fantasmic did close because of some technical difficulties, and so that was a little bit of a bummer. There were a number of rides that were closed throughout the night, and so we'll talk about that as we get a little bit further in this list. But after Fantasmic, I went over to Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge, and I did both of the Star Wars rides, Rise of the Resistance and the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. I went over and did the Rock and Roller Coaster. So that's a trip to the other side of Hollywood Studios, but I was hoping to do that a couple of times. Sadly, that was not the case, as Rock and Roller Coaster, right after I rode it, the ride broke. And it was down for quite a while the night. And looking at the app at that point, and I alluded to this just a few seconds ago, Slinky Dog Dash was down, and Aliens Rolling Saucers was down. And so that was a bit of a bummer, and something you may need to be prepared for, that the rides may break down, right? Just like they do during the day. And so there was a point where 3 out of the, 10 rides that they have at the park, because no shows were going, 3 of those rides were down. They were broken. And Aliens Rolling Saucers, I believe, did eventually come up. I didn't do that at this event. But with that said, Slinky Dog was down for a while, and I did not, sadly, get a chance to do Rock and Roller Coaster again. So what I did do was the meet and greets. This is the first time that I've done that. And they have these meet and greets at these after-hours events with characters that are not normally at the park. And so I did meet and greets themed to Pinocchio. It was Geppetto and Jiminy Cricket. And that was pretty cool, something a little bit different. And again, I wanted to be able to share some of the different events and things they had at this after-hours event. And then after that, I did Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Now, I was hoping that Slinky Dog would come back up, so I headed back to Toy Story Land. And sadly, it did not. So I did a quick meet and greet with Bo Peep, and then I did Toy Story Midway Mania to close out the night. So to recap everything, do I think that it's worth it? I do. There were some drawbacks, but with that said, one thing that I did not mention in this is that they have free snacks and drinks. And so there's free ice creams, there's free popcorns, there's free sodas, there's some other concession stands you can purchase during the night. But really, I mean, that's quite a bit to cram into a couple of hours in the park. I wish that I could have done a little bit more of the rides, specifically Slinky Dog. But with that said, I do think that it's definitely a value for the amount of money that you pay for the special event. So there's my recap of After Hours at Hollywood Studios. I hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned, because I'm going to be doing a recap not too long on our time at Epic Universe. All right, we'll catch you later.